Yes, good morning, friends. Welcome to Vijay Mohan IAS Academy, and this is Vijay Mohan. Hope everyone is good and hope everyone's preparation is going well. Yes, in this video, I'll be discussing only about economy questions of the UPSC Prelims 2022. Right? I am not going to give you the explanations in this video. In the coming videos, I'll be giving you the detailed explanation of the economy questions related to UPSC Prelims 2022. Right? Before going forward, I want to tell you that this year's question paper, if you see the UPSC Prelims 2022 question paper, it seems that the question paper is a bit lengthy and UPSC made it difficult to eliminate the options also, right? So if you observe, even the questions, if you want to solve the questions, you need to have a conceptual clarity on different issues for solving a single question. So even the options are placed in such a manner that the four options, at least having that, you should have an idea about two or three concepts, then only you will be able to solve the question. And the options are very tricky and it will take time to analyze the question and to answer the question. So I can say on the whole that the prelims UPSC prelims 2022 paper is of bit lengthy one. It is a time taking one, right? And as our subject matter is economy, I'll be telling you briefly about the economic questions of UPSC prelims 2022, which are the areas that majority of the questions are being asked. And this video will be helpful for the preparation of as upcoming exam, that is UPSC 2023. It will be useful for the aspirants of UPSC prelims 2023 or UPSC 2023, and this will be helpful for the aspirants to concentrate on what are the areas to be concentrate, that they have to concentrate and frame, and from where the maximum questions are being asked, right? And what are the important areas that you need to observe for your preparation, upcoming preparation, right? So I'll be once again telling you that this is economic questions analysis video only. I'll not be telling you about the explanations and answers, right? So if you see the economic questions of UPSC prelims 2022, basically there were nearly 20 questions. There were nearly 20 questions. So if you observe the last 5 or 6 years of your UPSC prelims questions, then you can see that nearly on an average there is 15 to 20 questions is being asked on economy, right? So they have continued that trend, right? Last year they have asked 15 or 16 questions. Now they have increased to 20 questions. So on an average, since last 5 or 6 years, they are asking nearly 20 questions, and it is forming one fifth of the your prelims paper. So economy plays a crucial role as far as clearing your preliminary examination is concerned. And one more thing that I have observed in this year's paper is that the difficulty level, first one is 20 questions, right? And second one is the difficulty level is moderately difficult. Many questions are moderately difficult in nature, and some 2 or 3 questions are very easy to answer if you know the conceptual clarity, and remaining other questions are moderately difficult, and you need a conceptual clarity to solve these questions, right? And third point I have observed is that majority of the questions are being framed on money and banking, monetary policy. See, majority of the questions are being framed on money and banking and monetary policy, central bank, that is Reserve Bank of India, right? And money market and capital market. Money market and capital market is also formed majority of the questions, right? And many of the questions are being framed on current affairs also. Many of the questions are being framed on current affairs also. Current affairs in the sense means the issues or the economic macroeconomic discussions that are going on in the public domain are being concentrated. We will see briefly what are the questions that are being asked and where you can find them, right? If you see the first question, rapid financing instrument, and rapid credit facility are related to the provisions of lending by which one of the following? See, earlier they used to ask about the reports. So directly, which is the organization which is being publishing this report? World Economic Outlook. For example, take World Economic Outlook. What is the organization that is being published, that this report is being published, right? Earlier they used to ask it directly, but now they have proceeded further. They are asking the instruments of financing. They are not simply asking the reports. So they are digging deeper and forming the questions based on the instruments of the international organizations, right? So it is not sufficient for you to simply know the international organizations, where they are located, what are the reports that they are being publishing. You need to dig deeper and you need to see what are the instruments that are being provided by these institutions and who are the members, how members are contributing to their fund or treasury, right? And in which way they are contributing their funds to developed countries. What are the shares of different members of the international organization? What is the voting percentage, or what is the procedure of voting of these international organizations as far as members are concerned, right? Okay, now we will see the next question. Next, this question is related to the effective exchange rate. With reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. It is asking about nominal effective exchange rate and real effective exchange rate and the difference between the near and real. Again, if you want to answer this question, you need to have a conceptual clarity about near and real. If you simply have the clarity about near, or if you simply have the clarity about only real, you cannot, you won't be able to answer this question. And why this question has been framed? Because of the recent, or if you see last 6 or 7 months, there is a hue and cry about rupee appreciation, rupee depreciation, quantitative easing. So if you observe this year's question paper, you will find that many of the questions are related to actually external sector. How exchange rate is being behaved, how rupee is appreciating, what is the functions of RBI, what RBI is doing to support the external or macroeconomic fundamentals, right? So if you simply know the fundamentals, yes, you can answer certain questions, but you need to apply those fundamentals, and where you cannot find all these into a single book. You cannot find the concepts of the questions related to economy in a single book. You need to read the newspapers, you need to read between the lines of the concepts, you need to find the processes, and you need to analyze. Then only you will be able to solve these kind of questions, right? Now we will see one more question. Let us see one more question. See, this question is related to inflation. I already told you that monetary policy, they are concentrating more on monetary policy with reference to the following statements. Just a minute. With reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. If the inflation is too high, RBI is likely to buy government securities. If rupee is rapidly depreciating, RBI is likely to sell dollars in market. If interest rates in USA, European Union were to fall, that is likely to induce RBI to buy dollars. So these concepts you won't be able to find in any textbook. For these things, you need to thoroughly read newspapers, you need to analyze them, and you need to form your opinion, right? So this is again related to inflation control, government securities, and it has also connected to the external market, that is interest rates in USA or European Union, right? Now see the next question. With reference to G20 common framework, consider the following statements. And this is a direct question. This is a little bit easier one. If you know the G20 common framework, then you will be able to answer this question directly. Again, I'm telling you, external sector related question. If you see one more question, with reference to Indian economy, what are the advantages of inflation index bonds? Here it is again concentrating on inflation and bonds. See, money market and capital market are important areas where the questions are being repeatedly asked by the UPSC, right? So inflation indexed bonds, again, it is also in the current affairs. And again, you cannot find these concepts in a single book. The only recourse for you to read newspapers, and thoroughly analyze them. And one more thing I wanted to tell the aspirants is that it is not relevant or it is not necessary to read three or four magazines, three or four newspapers, because even if you read three or four magazines or three or four newspapers, the concepts will be same. If you are reading them again and again, it is not going to give you any benefit. Rather, you have to follow one newspaper or one current affairs magazine, and you have to think forward and backward linkages on any concept, right? For example, if inflation index bonds are there, you have read a news article on the inflation indexed bonds, then you need to analyze what are those, why inflation indexed bonds are being used, what is the purpose of it, what are the characteristics of it, what are the positives of it, what are the negatives of it. So in this way you have to form a backward and forward linkages, then your preparation will be complete, right? And even in my Telegram channel also, I'm regularly sharing the news article, and I'm asking the aspirants to see what are the related issues. For example, I was sharing about GST and inflation and monetary policy related articles, and I was telling the aspirants to see what are the areas of this monetary policy, what are the regulations, what are the processes, right? So I many times in my Telegram channel also I told that the monetary policy, money market and capital market, and also inflation related issues will be very important for your preliminary aspect, right? We will see the next question. Yes, again you see with reference to foreign owned e-commerce firms operating in India. So this is related to the foreign owned e-commerce which is there in current affairs. The discussion is going on the public domain, and based on that they have framed a question, right? This is also moderately difficult question. Next question is, which of the following activities constitute the real sector in the economy? It is a basic, it is a basic level question with application nature, with applied nature, right? So if you want to solve this question, you need to have a clarity on basics as well as applications of that basic concepts, and it is related to calculation of national income and the other related issues. So if you see another question, indirect transfers, what, which one of the following situations best reflects indirect transfers often talked about in media recently with reference to India? Here, the question paper itself is telling that it is often talked in media recently, and again this indirect transfer concept is related to external sector or Indian corporate sector, right? So in newspapers you will regularly get the hints that if continuously a debate is going on in any newspapers, then you can find out that this that concept is going to be important for your preliminary aspect, preliminary examination. It is it, it may not be like that every discussion in the newspaper will be coming in the examination, but the hint for you will be provided in the news discussions. For example, all India radio spotlight discussions or newspaper items. So whenever a raging debate is going on in the newspapers and popular media, then you try to find out the macroeconomic concepts around it. What are the economic angle around it? What is the probability of questions being asked from the preliminary perspective, preliminary examination, right? And one more thing that I want to tell you aspirants is that as far as economic concepts are concerned, you have to regularly refer to the ministry websites and press information bureau. These are the reliable sources that you have to depend on, right? So now we will see another question. This is one more question with reference to the expenditure made by an organization or a company. Which of the following statements is concerned? Which of the following statement is or are correct? Acquiring new technologies, capital expenditure. Debt financing is considered capital expenditure, while equity financing is considered revenue expenditure. So this is related to capital expenditure. What is capital expenditure and what is revenue examination? What are the revenue components? What are the budget components? What are the capital components? Right? And what are the issues or items that are included in the revenue component, and what are the components or what are the items that are included in the capital component? This is also important. and this is a direct question. This is basically easy question. And next question, with reference to Indian economy, consider the following statements. A share of household financial savings goes towards government borrowings. Dated securities issued at market related rates in auctions form a large component of internal debt. It is talking about government debt and also saving rates. Again, a question on macroeconomic fundamentals, macroeconomic concepts, right? So in order to solve these type of questions, you need to have a thorough understanding of what are the macroeconomic fundamentals like savings rates, interest rates, and then internal debt, borrowing, inflation. What are the instruments that are related to, that are regulating these instruments? What is the how can you say, what is the trend of these macroeconomic variables, how these are being influenced by the external sector, and what are the components of internal debt? So like that you have to form your forward and backward linkages with the current affairs. So if you see another question, see the question with reference to Ayushman Bharat digital machine. This is also easy question and direct question. Ayushman Bharat digital machine is being discussed widely in the public domain, in the newspapers, in the news discussions also. This is what I'm telling, that in order to understand this Ayushman Bharat digital mission, you need not see the 3 newspapers or 3 magazines. It is sufficient if you are thorough with the 1 newspaper and 1 magazine, and provided that you should have searched this about this topic. What are the salient features? What are the aims and objectives? Right? What is the difference of this digital machine from the earlier machine? So in this way, if you form a comprehensive outlook about the concept, then it will be easy for you to solve the question. This is also a kind of easy question compared to other questions, right? Now see this question again on external sector. Consider the following statements. Tight monetary policy of US Federal Reserve could lead to capital flight. Capital flight may increase the interest cost of firms with existing ECBs, external commercial borrowings. Devaluation of domestic currency decreases the currency risk associated with external commercial borrowings. It is about external sector or capital flight, right? And there was a discussion about tight monetary policy or increase or decrease in the interest rates of US Federal Reserve, and what is the consequence of that on the Indian rupee or Indian capital markets. So if you understand the nuances or processes of these things, then you will be able to solve this question. And I'm time and again saying that you cannot find all these concepts in a single book. It is very difficult, right? So if you see another question, the next question, in India, sorry, consider the following statements. In India, credit rating agencies are regulated by Reserve Bank of India. See, the concept, this question has been framed on credit rating institutions, and again, this credit rating institution are related to the macroeconomic fundamentals or macroeconomic stability of the Indian economy. Right now, again, there was a discussion about the credit rating institutions, how the international credit rating institutions have been ranking Indian economy, and what are the weaknesses of those credit rating agencies, and what is the position of government, what is the position of opposition, what is the position of eminent economists on the credit rating institutions and their rankings, right? And however, again, here he has concentrated, by taking cue from that, he has concentrated on the credit rating institutions are agencies of India, and who is regulating it, right? So these are the areas that you need to concentrate. If you see the next question, again it is concentrating on banks board bureau. What is the importance of this banks board bureau? And this banks board bureau is again widely discussed in the public domain in the last 2 or 3 years, last 2 years, right? So if you see one more question, see again concentrating with reference to convertible bonds, bond market, as I told you, money market and capital market, right? And one more question. See, this question is important. Consider the following statements, and it is about Vietnam economy, the characteristics of Vietnam economy. You can say this question is from external sector. why he has provided a question on Vietnam economy. Since last 5 years or 6 years, you can say 1 decade, Vietnam is giving, or Vietnam increased its export competitiveness, and which is very essential for Indian economy also. So Indian economy in a way is competing with not only Vietnam, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Thailand, all these countries, Southeast Asian countries in the export competitiveness, and more so because of the COVID-19 restrictions or because of the COVID-19 related difficulties in the world economy. So, in order to increase the export competitiveness, India has to face a stiff competition from these countries, especially from Vietnam. That is the reason why there is a question being asked on the Vietnam economy. Vietnam economy's macroeconomic fundamentals. So, these kind of questions you cannot find anywhere in the book. You have to read thoroughly newspapers, and then you have to see the potential of the issue for your preliminary examination. Then you will be able to answer these type of questions, right? Then we will see next question. In India, which one of the following is responsible for maintaining price stability by controlling inflation? It is a direct question. And again, I told you that the examination, the UPSC is concentrating more on inflation and monetary policy. So in India, what is the what is it in India, which one of the following is responsible for maintaining the price stability in controlling inflation? This is a kind of easy question, right? And a direct question. So if you see the, sorry, yeah, if you see the next question, it is related to non-fungible tokens. Again, you can say it is related to money, and also technical aspect involved in this. And non-fungible tokens, they are there in the debate or current affairs related issue. There was a debate about the non-fungible tokens, uses of non-fungible tokens, and weaknesses of non-fungible tokens in the public domain. There was a discussion about it in the leading newspapers also. So this is also, you can say, that current affairs based question, right? Now, if you see another question, in India, which one of the following compiles information on industrial disputes, closures, retrenchments, layoffs in factories, employing workers? Or this is kind of a direct question, right? And why this question is being framed? Because of the debate going on about the labor codes, 4 labor codes, which are framed or which are enacted by the union government. So based on that, this question has been formed, right? Now we will see one more question. Yes. See, another question is, in India, what is the role of coal controllers organization? This is again a current affairs based question, because in the last 6 months or 7 months, there was a debate over coal, what do you say, availability of coal for power generation, and how India is depending for coal imports, and what is the precarious situation of coal mines for providing coal to the power stations. And because of that debate, they have concentrated on, or they have given a question related to coal controllers organization. So these are the kind of things that you need to have a perspective, that depending upon the current affairs sources, you need to search, or you need to see what are the linkages for this, and what are the stakeholders involved in it, and how these stakeholders, or how this sector is being regulated, what are the regulatory agencies, right? In this way, you need to comprehensively analyze the forward and backward linkages depending upon the news items that are being debated in the newspapers. So, and these are the questions, I think. Yeah, so these are the 20 questions that are being asked in your UPSC 2022 preliminary examination. As I already told you that this year's economy paper is of moderately difficult in level. You can find 2 or 3 questions of little bit easier ones, easier side, right? And if possible, in the coming video or coming videos, I'll be explaining you, or I'll be giving you the answers and explanations also for these questions, right? And one more thing I want to tell you before closing is that we are starting UPSC economy module, UPSC 2023 economy module for integrated approach of your prelims and also mains paper. As you can see that the economy part is there predominantly there in the GS third paper, GS3. So we'll be starting a module, economy module, and for integrated approach of your prelims and mains, and I'll be giving you details soon, right? So for now, thank you. Have a nice day.